Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hope you're doing well. And today we're going to be talking about some knives. So these knives were sent to me by a company known as Outdoor Edge. I reached out to them, asked if they would like to send me some knives. They were super willing to, so big shout out to them. It really means a lot. Now, this company's kind of been on my radar for a while now. They have something really cool, and basically I think they're the only company that does this. They offer completely replaceable blades, the entire thing, not like your standard utility blades. The full entire length of your blade can be replaced. So this is super handy if you're if you work in the trades, if you're a fisherman, if you're an avid outdoorsman, huntsman, literally anything. These knives will definitely appeal to you. All their stuff is very affordable, very easy to access, very easy to understand. So I'm a really big fan of this company already, and I haven't even used their products yet. This portion of the video is just going to be an unboxing, first impressions, and I'm actually going to go out and test these things. I'm not an avid outdoorsman, hunter, fisher, but I will go out and test these things, see how they handle just basic outdoor tasks. So anyway, let's get into this, but first let's take a look at their website. So this company has a lot of stuff. If you go on their website here, they have a lot of stuff. So they have hunting, fishing, saws, sharpeners, utensils, EDC blades, but their kind of claim to fame is their replaceable, blades. So you can go on their website here, you can easily find which blade pack you need, and it tells you right on the front of each package. So this is a 350 blade knife. So you go on their website, let's get a zoom in here, and you find the little blue tab that says 3.5 inch blade. You click on that, you have all these options: drop point, gut hooks, you got some combo edges, and they're honestly really, really cheap. They're really not that bad. I mean, this 6-pack of drop point blades, it's only $12.95. So really affordable, super, super convenient. Like, for example, if you work in the trades, specifically if you're cutting in drywall all day, I mean, you have, razor blades that you can use, but having something on you, like EDC knife, not necessarily carrying a razor blade, like a utility knife, having something like this, that's more of an EDC knife, super, super convenient. So I'm really excited to check these out. Let's take a look at these two. So the two they sent me, this is the Razor VX. This is the one I was more interested in. This is their more EDC oriented one. It's the more modern one. It's got aluminum scales, deep carry pocket clip, etc. This is going to be your more outdoorsy EDC knife. Even though it says EDC Light on it, this is a more outdoorsy gear knife. It's got the orange scales, the grippy texture, the back lock, etc. So two different types here, and this one comes in at $45 and this one comes in at $35. So, as again, really reasonable pricing, and I am just a huge fan of that. So let's take a look at the Razor EDC Light first. All right, so first up, we're looking at the Razor EDC Light. So this is going to be, as I said before, your more outdoorsy oriented knife. And before we get more into everything, all of the blades are using a steel known as 420 J2 steel. Now, I did look this steel up. I've never really heard of it before. Looked it up on blade forums and stuff like that, and they were saying that this is it's a very corrosion resistant steel. It's pretty much impossible to make rust, which makes it very, very good for outdoorsy applications, hunting, fishing, stuff like that. So it's very, very, hard to make this thing rust. Really, really good corrosion resistance, not very good edge retention, but it's a very durable steel because it's not super brittle. It's not super hard. So, the steel is very tough. It can probably take a lot of abuse and not break and shatter. So very cool. Again, pretty low, but low budget steel, kind of cheap steel, but it's meant to be like that so you can replace your blades. So this is just some simple, blister packaging. It says on here the profile is drop point. Obviously, the steel gives you some simple specs on the back. Tells you how to replace the blade, features, stuff like that. So you have a blade length of 3.5 inches. You have an overall length of 8 inches. The handle is glass-filled nylon with TPR inserts, and the weight of this knife is 2.8 ounces. So nice and lightweight, which I really enjoy. Let's get this thing open here. All right, so I got the items out of the packaging here, so we'll toss that. Here is your replaceable blades. So let's take this thing off. This is obviously going to be very sharp. It definitely feels like a razor blade. So not too much wiggle in that blade. And apparently to release this, all you do is, you get a zoom in on here, you simply press down on this and you pull it out. That's it. And then we want to put it back in. You just put it back in, make sure it lines up on there, press the button, and it locks in. That's it. Super, super easy. Overall feeling of this knife feels really good in the hand. You have some nice jimping on the back here, nice little thumb ramp. Simple backlock design, dual thumb studs. Pocket clip. That sticks up really far out of the pocket. So this is definitely, this is not meant to be, like your everyday carry knife. This is definitely meant to go on you in your outdoor adventures. So you have this super, super textured, grippy inlay. It says Outdoor Edge in there, some little squigglies. Have some simple branding, Razor Light EDC. It also tells you the types of blade it takes right there, 350. So that's it. All right, so there's a look at the Razor EDC Light. We're definitely going to test this guy in a little bit. All right, so next up we have the Razor VX. This is definitely the one that I was more interested in. Very simple box here, not much going on. So you have the model number. This is the gray anodized aluminum, spring assisted. This accepts 300 and 301 blades. Nice to know. There's that. Let's get this thing out of the packaging here. Oh, get a little sticker. That's nice. And just kind of get a little, pamphlet, catalog. Tells you about the different knives and stuff. So they have a lot of different options here, as you can see. Different blade handles, different styles, colors to choose from. But I definitely really wanted the aluminum. I'm a huge fan of aluminum handled knives. So, oh, it's got some heft to it. Comes in this nice little pouch. That's very nice. Got your replaceable blades in the bottom. Comes with two. You have a standard drop point, and you have a little combo edge. All right, so this is the Razor VX. Ooh, that feels really nice. Really nice action. I love these scales. Feels very good in the hand. Nice and solid. And very simple blade replacement. Locks in there. Liner lock. Blade centering is absolutely perfect. Nice deep carry clip. This action is really nice. That feels really good. Wow, I am really impressed with this so far. First impressions, really good. No blade play, super solid. This thing's sweet. Obviously, insanely sharp. I just can't believe how easy that is to take the blade out and put it back in. It's literally so freaking easy. I mean, why would you buy a utility knife after buying one of these? I mean, it's literally a no-brainer. So there you go. That is a first look at the Razor VX. We are going to go out now and give these things some proper testing. All right, so the first thing I wanted to do was to take the VX1 with me to work and just basically see how it performed. I kind of put it through its paces, opened up a lot of packages and boxes. As you see here, it goes in and out of the pocket very easily. So basically what I did is I took a brand new fresh blade and I did a simple paper test just to see if it was sharp. Obviously it is. It's a brand new razor blade, essentially. So I took a box and I broke it down. I definitely did over 100 cuts here. But I just broke this box down into a bunch of little pieces just to see how good the edge held up. I didn't do an exact cut count on these, obviously, but it was definitely over 100 cuts. And so basically I just cut it up into one big pile, and then I did a paper test after just to see how good that edge retention was. And as you see here, it basically had no effect on it. So cardboard's a really fibrous material, over 100 cuts, and it's still able to cut paper like this. It's definitely awesome. All right, so we are outside testing the Razer VX1 and the EDC Light. So basically, I just wanted to start off with cutting some simple 550 paracord here. So as you can see, it goes through it like butter, which is as to be expected. It's, you know, they're razor blades. So I did some single cuts, and then I doubled it up, and I also tripled it up. And of course, it went through it easily each time. So here we got the Razer VX1 going through it like absolutely nothing. And what is cool is that's the same blade that I was using to cut all that cardboard, so it's all gunked up and everything like that. And that edge is still nice and sharp, able to cut through 3 strands of paracord, no problem. So the next cord I have here is just some super thick nylon rope. This is probably the thickest rope that I have, and as you see there, it goes through it like absolutely nothing, so that's awesome. And as you see here, the Razer VX1 going through it very easily as well. So I do have this combo edge, so we're going to open that here, and it's a, you know, just half serrated, half straight edge, and very easy. Take the, you know, the plain edge out, put the combo edge in, and there you go, super easy. And I did a double cut on this one, which is super thick rope. And as you see, it goes through it almost there, but it pretty much cuts through it with ease. It took a little bit of force, but yeah, that combo edge is freaking awesome. And being able to just exchange it just that quick, basically have a whole entire new knife essentially, is really convenient. All right, so now we're going to be doing some batoning and feather sticking. This is definitely not what these knives are meant for, so I'm definitely putting them, you know, out of their element here, but I just wanted to see if they could handle it. I was also dropping this knife repeatedly on its tip. After about 5 or 6 drops there, as you can see, the tip is bent very bad, but the beauty of it is you can just grab a fresh new blade, take that out, take the old one out, and pop the new one in there, and you are back to nice, fresh, clean, and perfect edge there. So as you see here, we're using that new blade now. It's going through it very easily. And, you know, and again, I'm going to say this is not meant, you know, for batoning. So the VX1 did pretty good, but as you see here, the Razer EDC Light did not do good with batoning. There was a bunch of, you know, splinters of wood that got stuck up in there. So after I, you know, took about 10 minutes to clean it, they were really jammed in there. You know, it's back to, you know, fresh, clean. I put a new blade on there. It also struggled with feather sticking, as you see here. So I just took a couple of, you know, bites into that wood with the edge, and already some splinters got lodged up in the, you know, area where the blade sits. So, you know, the Razer EDC Light is definitely not good for doing pretty much anything involving woodworking, but the Razer VX1 actually did pretty good. It's able to, you know, shave some pretty good chunks off. As you see here, I'm able to feather stick with it, and worked really good. So, but as you can see, the VX1 did get some, you know, some splinters in there, which I think is just going to happen with these kinds of knives. So again, this is not what they're really meant to be used for, but as you see here, the VX1 is actually doing a pretty good job of just taking some chunks out of that pine. So if you did ever need to, you know, get some shavings to start a fire, this could easily handle that. All right, so the last test that I wanted to do was just cutting some heavy-duty plastic. So these are iced tea jugs, and the plastic is super thick, so I just wanted to see if they could handle it. Both of them did, you know, handle it extremely well. But I noticed with the EDC Light, which is the, you know, this one right here with the orange handle, it's just a lot thinner of a knife, so I feel like it doesn't handle heavy-duty tasks, you know, as good as the VX1. So again, the VX1 is going to be your more heavy-duty knife, even though it's not heavy-duty at all, but it's going to be able to handle tasks like that more. And then the EDC Light's going to be your more light-duty tasks. All right, so here are my final thoughts on these two after doing some testing and kind of using these things. I found that I'm not a huge fan of the Razer EDC Light. Now, I only say that because I didn't have a chance to really test this thing in its natural environment. I mean, I don't avidly go fishing, and I'm not a hunter, so I was not able to test it when, you know, cutting through, you know, gutting fish and skinning. So if any of you have ever used this thing for that application and it did good for you, let me know in the comments below. But the Razer VX1 absolutely blew me away. Everything about this knife I love. I love the action. I love the aluminum scales, and throughout all my testing it held up with flying colors. So I am very happy with the Razor VX1. So this knife I would 100% recommend. By the way, the blade centering only looks off because the blade is slightly bent from my testing. So but the actual blade centering is spot on. So just want to let you guys know from before. So that's pretty much it. That is the two knives from Outdoor Edge. Again, it's not entirely this knife's fault that I didn't like it. It's just I wasn't able to use it how it was intended. But I definitely put the Razor VX through its paces and did way more than it was expected of it. And it yeah, this thing really impressed me. So this is definitely going to be a carry knife, a hard use knife, something I can use when I don't want to damage my other knives. So it's definitely going to be a beater knife. But I will have these two knives linked in the description below, as well as Outdoor Edge's website, so you can go take a look at everything they offer. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay humble. Peace.